Let's take a closer look at S function to explore and understand the behavior of Riemann's zeta function. A deeper insight might be helpful to eventually solve the Riemann hypothesis. Domain extension of zeta function to real of s less than 1 can be done using the functional equation here. The equation relates values of the Riemann zeta function at the points s and 1 minus s. The ratio between zeta function and its analytic continuation is given by this formula. It can be shown by examining the values on the right side of the equation that this ratio never goes to 0 nor infinity when s is not a real number. This implies that inside the critical strip, zeta of s and zeta of 1 minus s never go to 0 independently from each other. This is consistent with the symmetry of non-trivial zeros about the critical line. Let's observe how the plots of S function are evolving from lower to higher imaginary part. When the imaginary part is less than around 2 pi, the real curve of S function crosses the real line more than once. Let's observe how the plots of S function are evolving from lower to higher imaginary part. When the imaginary part is more than around 2 pi, the real curve of S function crosses the real line only once. At high imaginary part, the curve looks more like a straight line. Let's zoom in. But if it's compensated by a straight line with the slope equals log of c over 2 pi, we get a curve. The curve looks like a cubic equation, with roots at 0 and plus or minus a half. The roots look the same when the imaginary part is reduced to around 2 pi. But if the imaginary part is reduced further, the side roots get further away from 0. When the imaginary part gets closer to 0, the curve gets more distorted. The spike at real s1/2 corresponds to the pole of zeta function at s equals 1. While the spike at real s negative 1/2 is just the reflection around the critical line as defined by the S function itself. Let's look at the curve with imaginary part equals 2 pi, and zoom into the point 0.5. The curve seems to cross the x-axis at 0.5. This video has shown another regularity in Riemann's zeta function, which might be helpful to eventually solve the Riemann hypothesis.